with the first reading. Start with the first reading. So as I said at the beginning of the Mass, today the reading speaks about the virtue of humility, to be humble. So there's 3 practical tips or words of wisdom from the first reading, and then 2 more words of wisdom in regards to how to grow in humility from the gospel. So 3 first reading, 2 of the gospel. But before I go any further, let's give her a round of applause here. Good job, my girl. Phenomenal. Everybody was just waiting to clap, but they know that was not the moment to clap. Good job not clapping after the second reading, but so great job. Keep it up, keep it up. So let's go to the first reading. Brothers and sisters, you have not approached, no, the first reading, that's the second reading. So the first one, and actually all of them summarize in the phrase of the gospel: whoever exalts himself will be humble, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. That's a beautiful way to put it. A more realistic is those who exalt themselves sooner or later will be humiliated. That's a more crude and to the point. If you exalt yourself, sooner or later you're going to crash. The higher you think you are and think of yourself, the stronger and the more painful the fall and the humiliation that comes from it. So instead of exalting yourself so as to crash and being humiliated in one way or another, it's best to stay humble. Because if you're humble, then others and even God will exalt you. So very basic principle about what it is to be humble. Let's look at some practical things. My child, conduct your affairs with humility. And look at this. Why should we strive to be humble? Shouldn't be for this reason, but it helps. And you will be loved more than a giver of gifts. I like givers of gifts. I love givers of gifts. But someone humble is more loved than one that gives gifts. And in many ways that's so, because the humble person who is not trying to exalt themselves in conversations will turn the conversation to exalt others rather than themselves. It's a good strategy. Instead of talking about themselves, they'll turn around and say, oh, no, but you really did this great, and that over here, and in a humble person that exalts their brothers and sisters, well, that is a great gift. The gift of esteem, the great of exalting others and helping them and make them feel good. That is a gift in of itself, but it's a gift that comes with those who are humble. Instead of focusing on themselves, they flip it and praise others for the great things they see in others. Another one, he says, humble yourself the more, the greater you are, and you will find favor with God. You see, part of living in this world, there are structures and hierarchies. You may be the superior or the manager in a company, or you may be the CEO, or you may be the one. There's always someone in top of someone else. That's how the world is. And if you're the top in the chain of this world, I'm sure even at home there will be someone in top of you. Let it be your spouse or the youngest in the family, whatever it is, but there's always someone in top of someone else. Now, if you happen to be in that position of being on top of others, let it be by being a supervisor, let it be because you're the educator, or because you have specific skills that put you in that position, or you were trained for it, whatever, your experience. There are many reasons why you may be on top of another person in regards to hierarchical structures, but when you do, careful. And this is the great wisdom here. Humble yourself the more, the greater you are. So the greater positions you are in the chain of commands, the more humble you have to be. The more humble. Why? Because it can easily get to your head. And if it gets to your head, then sooner or later, if you're not growing in humility, the humiliation is going to come. So you choose. You want to stay in the high position? Well, sooner or later something will happen that will humiliate you. Or just you make yourself grow in humility so that you will find favor with God and favor with each other. See, in my relating with other people, when I had supervisors or when I supervise, there's a huge difference when the supervisor, it's a humble one. The rest of the people that work for that person, they like working with that person. And they don't even cover for the supervisor if something is wrong because they have a good working relationship. And when the supervisor needs an extra help, guys, we're in trouble. We have to meet this quota. And it's like, we got you. Let's do it. And because you have a good working relationship in humility. But if you're not, you blah, 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 when the time comes, they're not going to back you up. So the higher in the positions you are, the more humble you have to be in order to gain the favor of your own persons that work for you. And things will work better for you. Now let's go look at another tip here that has it. Let's go to the next slide. What is too sublime for you, seek not. Into things beyond your strength, search not. So a prideful, lofty person that wants, lofty goals. Now, there's a difference between striving to be the best you can be, and the other one is thinking yourself beyond your own capacities. And knowing the difference is humility. Right? Is that something that I could truly strive for, or am I being too thinking too much of myself? I was training. I remember when I called it the school to become a pastor. I went to a 3-year program, taking classes, and I really liked the SMART goals. It says SMART, S-M-A-R-T. You remember what? S for specific, M for measurable, A for obtainable, R for what is it? Realistic, I think it was. And T for time. You have to, in this time I'm going to do this. And if you haven't heard it, just Google it. SMART goals. That's you striving for goals, but then you're making it obtainable, reasonable. You measure it. Okay, by this time I want to do it, and it makes it very realistic. But it's a humble approach to set a goal. So the other one that I like here is the mind of a sage appreciates proverbs, and an attentive ear is the joy of the wise. So the joy of the wise. See, it's basically that proverb is saying, if you're humble, you will recognize that you need the wisdom of others. You don't have all the knowledge, so you will consult. You will ask for people's opinions. You will reach out rather than thinking you got all the answers, because no one has all the answers. As gifted, as an experience as one may be, there's always blind sides to one's perspective, to one way of seeing things. So the more humble I am, aware that I don't know it all, and the more I consult with others, then the greater will be my outcome, because now I have a bigger picture. So the wisdom saying that the mind of a sage appreciates proverbs, but, let's go back. And an attentive ear is the joy of the wise. So an attentive ear is fruit of being humble. If I'm humble enough to know I don't have all the answers, then my ear will be attentive to people who are wise, wiser. And even if they don't seem wiser, I'd be surprised how many times, what is it, out of the mouth of babes, wisdom come, right? You'll be surprised. If someone, the least person you expect, makes a comment, you're like, you know what, I kind of needed to hear that one. So keep that ear open, but that ear will only be open if you're humble enough to recognize that you need to listen to one another and to the signs that God may send, however he may send them. Now let us go to the gospel. So we covered 3 from the first reading. Let's cover 2 more practical tips in regards to humility. The first one, I'm sure you all know it because it happens in every Catholic church. People start sitting from the back to the front, right? Typically, it's funny. If you come early, you see how the back gets filled, and then little by little it starts moving up. And then it starts moving back up down. Because the people who come late, they don't want to go all the way to the front. So it's pretty interesting. But the principle is here, let's go to the gospel, is when you're invited to a place, just don't sit at the place of honor. That's presuming that you're the most honorable in the whole room. There may be others who are more honorable than you. So those who exalt themselves sooner or later will be humiliated. Imagine that, you're in the middle of a big celebration, and here comes the host. I'm sorry, but you thought you were really important and you're not. You're going to have to sit in the back now. That's embarrassing. Or humiliating. Once again, either you're growing in humility or humiliation is about to come in any moment to keep you grounded and continue to grow in humility. So that beautiful story of, where do you sit? Sit in the back. Take the place of least honor. And then if it happens to be that you are the honorable one, then okay. They will exalt you. People will come, no, come. And when you sit in the front, it's a difference between the one who presumes and sits in the front. Everybody's like, there's that one who thinks they're the best in the whole world. People talk, you know that. But if you stay in the back, and then the host tells you, no, please come to the front, everybody will be like, you see, humility is it's lovable. People like people who are humble. So, greater than a giver of gift. So today, 5 different, we got one more. The next one is this one. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, yeah, that one. No. The next one. The last one will be, one more. Nope, let's go to the next one. Next one. There we go. When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives. Go to the next one. Or your wealthy neighbor, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. So here, and the last tip to growing humility is, who do you associate yourself with? Who do you hang around with? Who do you spend time with? Often we want to hang out with the top of the top, the best, the most influential, the rich, the powerful, the famous. That's not humility. Humble yourself. Associate with those who are perhaps in need, that you may serve, that you may help them, that you may fulfill that character within us that we all have. It's a desire to be a gift of self to someone else. You're seeking for fulfillment in your life. There's no other way but you being a gift of yourself to someone else. But for that, you have to be humble. Because, I'm too special and that person doesn't deserve me. No. Give yourself as a gift of love and do so in humility. So today's 5 tips on humility. Now we proceed to the table of the Eucharist. This will be a good opportunity to ask for the grace. Lord, help me to grow in humility. And a beautiful example that we have, not just in Jesus Christ, who not just gave himself, but literally gave his life for us, the Son of God, who mighty God became man, human, to associate himself with us, sinners, broken. May we follow that example. And let's follow also the example of the Blessed Mother, who after the Annunciation, and known to be the mother of the Son of God, what did she do afterwards? Went straight to serve to her cousin Elizabeth, to minister to her for 3 months in her pregnancy. Queen of heaven. Yet the first thing she did after she was announced that she used to be the mother of God, she went to serve. So let's remain humble and remain with that wisdom saying, those who exalt themselves will be humbled or humiliated, but those who humble themselves will be exalted. Let's stand and profess our faith. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before